What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Let's Play Hiveswap Friendsim for the third time. My third playthrough of Hiveswap Friendsim, in which instead of playing by myself or sending photos to a friend, I'm going to commentary a YouTube series out of it. Because why not? We're in like the second to last, or I guess third to last episode, because the epilogue's like a whole thing. Or no, episode week. It's 7 o'clock. This is way later than I usually record. But yeah, why not, right? Possible spoiler warning for Homestuck proper, this game, Pesterquest, some Homestuck fanfics, not as much Hiveswap. Still haven't finished Hiveswap Act 2. It's been a week, for sure. I actually have food coming on the way right now, or at least it's like on the way to be delivered. So this will be an interesting time. But today, so I ended up not, it is 7 p.m. on Monday, or Tuesday, and I'm just, life is chaos. Some stuff happened at work recently. Let's talk to a teenager. Yes, this is it, fellas. Another night of laughter and camaraderie. Another night of joy and communion with some totally normal teens who would never... Just kidding, Andy, you're still in Alternia. You just know one of those miserable chuckle fucks is around here somewhere, waiting for the exact right moment to inundate you with another disgusting dose of friendship. Who's going to be the author of your destruction on this accursed evening? Daraya, one of the best characters in this game. I love her, and I wish her the best. Your feet drag as you walk, every limb heavy and slow, and your thoughts are cloudy and dull. Your palm husk is filled with unanswered texts. You feel guilty about this in the back of your mind, where real feelings live, crammed together, because the front of your mind is too busy being lethargic and numb. Being a bad friend goes against the core tenets of your beliefs, but answering text just seems like too much effort. You're not sure where this particular malaise came from, just that the usual friend-making animus that drives you is still there, but it doesn't feel strong enough to overcome how tired you are of everything else. Ain't that a 2020 mood? Can't quite remember how it felt to care that much about companionship and camaraderie. In fact, right now you can't remember how it felt to care about much of anything. Your thoughts drift to fantasies of driving your car into the uninhabited Eternian desert so you run out of fuel, and perhaps letting the sun have its way with you. Could also be part of that feeling that you've almost made all the friends there are to make, and that there's still a little left for you to do on this planet. Could be weeks of trauma catching up to you and sinking into depression to protect you from thinking about it all. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna take off my sweater real quick. This game, I know it came out in 2018. I think I've talked about how I know it came out in 2018, but it really does have some good 2020 moods in it. Because the events of 2020 are simply a culmination of many of the events that came before. Who would have guessed, right? Either way, it just feels like so much effort to do anything, and you'd sort of welcome oblivion if it showed up right now to offer its sweet embrace. Your listless walking has taken you into a familiar neighborhood. Ah, the cerulean part of town. You smile as you reminisce, sweet memories peeking through like beams of sunlight through the fog of your apathy. Well, I guess, I was about to say the cerulean neighborhood, really? But I guess more of the ceruleans we've met have been nice than ones that were bitches. Not far from here is Malik's Hive, with all of its hacking equipment and charming upper middle class atmosphere of entitlement and complaisance mixed with vaguely socially aware concern. And though you've only seen pictures of it on Chitter, you know Remley's hipster art studio / hive is also in the neighborhood. And one block over is Zardada's place, which gave you your first gruesome and troubling introduction to Alcernian social mores. One taught you love. One taught you patience. One taught you pain. Or something like that. The hive you're closest to is actually Elward's, and as you shamble closer you realize that a lot of other trolls seem to be converging here too. Fishing out your palm husk, you see that the unread message from Elward is an invitation to a party at her place. Oh shit. Oh no, I forgot she was in this route. There are so many voices in this route. Doesn't Kahoot show up in this one too? Don't mind me, literally, I'm opening the wiki as we speak because I'm gonna have to I remember only vaguely how Daraya's route goes. This music's banger, though. There she is. She's so cute. I want to pick her up. Her reference may be a reference to Kanaya. Okay. I now know Daraya's route. Looking around you, you feel the flame of your old desire to meet and greet rekindling in your heart. There are plenty of trolls here you haven't met yet. But plenty of opportunities for friendship. I know that's not Damic, but it does look like it could be. Also, this troll. They've got a broken horn. Is that Tavros? I mean, I know it's not Tavros for lore reasons, but doesn't it look like him? The now roaring fire in your belly feels a little artificial. Like someone just injected you with friend-making hormones to flood out your regular human melancholy, but you're not going to complain, because this is vastly preferable. As you're walking briskly towards Elbert's hive, you spot a troll lurking in the shadows by Elbert's back door. Curious, you approach, and when you get closer, you spot the jade green in her outfit. Although, there's not much of her blood color in comparison to what most other trolls seem to be short, because she's mostly wearing black. And spikes. And black spikes. Oh, how do I do a tired teenager voice? I haven't been a tired teenager in a hot second. Ugh, it's you. Guess it makes sense you be here. Probably friends with Elbert, huh? Whatever. Yeah, you're friends with Elward, but you didn't come here for the party. You're just in the neighborhood. You try to mimic Daria's disaffected slouch. It's not hard, as you can just channel the you from 60 seconds ago, who was very disaffected indeed. From the approving arch of Daria's eyebrow, you think you're doing a pretty good job. Yeah, parties are lame. Most parties are anyway. This one might be cool. Elward's pretty cool. I mean, she seems alright. I don't think she's that cool, I just think her hair and clothes and personality don't completely suck us all. You tactfully don't comment on the green blush to Daria's cheeks when she keeps talking about Elward, nor the way she keeps glancing at the door like she's hoping someone will invite her in. She's clearly trying to sneak into this party and doesn't have an invite. I also just realized this troll with the broken horn has a pie on their shirt, and this guy over here appears to have 2 pupils in one of his eyes. When a branch snaps in the bushes, Daraya startles and looks around shiftily. You wonder if she's supposed to be on her own this far up from the caverns at all. I'm not a baby like Wanshi, so what if I snuck out? The Cloisterers are so lame. Branya is so lame. I can't believe Elbert used to hang out with her, but I guess if she hadn't offended Branya, I never would have met her. It's hard to meet non-Jadebloods in the caverns. All the time you're underground with nothing but Lucai and grubs and the same stupid jades every day. It sucks down there. Daria's invitation grubhorn bracelets clunk as she folds her arm over her chest. Her heavy makeup makes it look like her eyes are twin black holes, where all sense of fun and caring about things might go to die. I was so close to being that kid in, like, high school. I guess middle school more. But my school had rules against heavy makeup, and I wasn't quite that cool. She's giving you a marked contrast from how Branya talked about the caverns with the peace and quiet and safety they offered compared to Alternia's surface. And other than the time Lanera nearly killed you in a cave, and that time you were nearly trampled by rampaging Lucis, you remember liking the caverns. You would think that. Don't know why I thought you might be cool. You might be friends with Elward, but you're also friends with Branya and Lanera. They're the 2 most boring trolls on this planet. You can't help but feel slightly defensive of your friends. Sure, Lanera is Lanera, but you wouldn't call her boring. And Branya is very fond of rules, it's true, but she can hang. Whatever. This conversation is dumb. I don't care if you can't get me into the party, nothing matters anyway. Just make your stupid choice and get on with it. She's just like, I know how this goes. Just to get on with it already, bitch. So we're gonna suggest that she goes home. Thinking about the Jadeblood Caverns has got you really missing them. The quiet monotony, the cute little grubs, the dank air and darkness. You can't think of a better place to lie down and have a depression nap. Perhaps even a depression coma. So you straighten up out of your slouch and tell Daraya that regardless of her opinion on Branya and how cool or lame she is, those cloister rules probably exist for a reason, right? Maybe the two of you can both go back to the caverns together. Ugh. Fine. Big goody two strut pod encasements. I'm gonna go somewhere where it's not so lame. We're lame. And also, now that I've been reminded of the concept of jade plus cloisters, let's have an Alternian thought. We haven't sat down and had an Alternian thought together in a little bit. So I don't remember anything happening on Marvel's episode that gave me an Alternian thought. That's the idea of jade blood cloisters is so interesting to me. Specifically because as far as we know, there's really only one mother grub at a time. And that might not be true. It might be that there's only one mother grub per region, because honestly, I mean, there are a lot of eggs, but like, they talk about there being other continents, and we've seen a map of Alternia that has oceans and continents, so I have to imagine there's at least one mother grub per continent, because otherwise the other continents would be populated by nothing but sea dwellers. And just because this cloister, as far as we can tell, is like, what, 6 trolls? 6 or 7? I can't remember now. I can probably count if I really want to, but... And, you know, we see them all taking care of the mother grub. And I just have to wonder, like, are they the only ones who do that? Like, how... Because the mother grub does lay a lot of eggs, so I have to imagine if there's more than one mother grub, I can't imagine there being, like... Even though a bunch of them die in the process, obviously, I know that. There can't be more than, like, one every, I don't know, I don't know space. Like, one per US. Because I'm an American, and that's just, I don't know, the America's kind of big. Like, even... I guess I'm just, because I think they mentioned before, too, that the Jades are the smallest class. Like, they don't have, or caste. There's not a lot of Jade Bloods, from what I can remember. There's not a lot of Jade Bloods. And not all of them live in the caverns. I believe Kanaya was super unique for having lived on the surface, but it is a thing that does happen. I have to wonder, like, yeah, how many mother grubs are there? The idea of cloisters means that there must be some sort of system for Jade Bloods where they gather in, like, these little pockets. Because cloisters are not a thing we hear about anywhere else. Cloisters seem to be exclusively a jade blood thing. And I guess I wish I knew how they worked. I think that's so interesting. I wish I knew how many mother grubs there were. And, you know, because sometimes they have to, and we see, eventually they do have to retire, and usually when they retire, they take, you know, some sort of jade blood under their wing. And, wing. I don't know. And it could be, too, that cloister, like, we don't see all of the trolls in this cloister. It could be that this is just, like, cloister is a larger population of Jade Bloods, and we just meet these ones because these are the ones that maybe Branya is in charge of. And because, these are the ones that Branya, and, too, I mean, I guess it also depends, because trolls eventually will cycle in and out of this system. So it could be that cloister could just mean neighborhood. You know, like this Jade Blood neighborhood. And then it just so happens that, you know, these are the trolls in this neighborhood at this point. And then, you know, when Link goes off to space and when Branya goes off to space. And then Lanera and Daraya and Wanshi and, you know, so on. That, you know, each time they leave, there will be another Jade who moves in who's much younger. And then, you know, whoever is now the troll in charge of the cloister would then be responsible for training them. No, these alternative social systems are way more interesting than they have any right to be because we don't get any information on them! Sorry if that was really high-pitched. Anyway, let's go get another bad ending. Let's go get the bad ending that makes me cry. Party hard. What the hell? It's not your job to keep anyone in line. It's not like you have a great understanding of why even the older Jade ones need to stay on the ground anyway. If Daraya wants to sneak into parties and get in trouble, who are you to say no? Daraya expresses no pleasure at your decision to get her into the party. She just shrugs and rolls her eyes. You shrug and roll your eyes back. You can play the role of disaffected teen with the best of them. Oh, I need to look up what Kahoot's voice is. Give me a second. I remember now. You take her around to the front door. Hey, you're looking forward to seeing Elwood again. When you met her, you didn't have nearly as many friends as you do now, and in retrospect, you kind of came off as kind of psychophantic. Wouldn't it be great if you could introduce Elwood to the new, popular, and knowledgeable you? As you're walking up the steps, a huge shadow dwarfs yours. You look up to see Kahoot, of all trolls, grinning above you. Hey, little one. I remember you. And it was this new little one you've got with you. Kahoot switches her interest from you to Daraya, grinning down at her. Daraya isn't huge for a Jade blood or anything, but she seems absurdly tiny when Kahoot looming down at her like that. Her face remains impassive and bored, but she scuffs one of her big black boots on the ground and twists one of her spiky bracelets around on her wrist. Me too. I do actually. I wear boots. I only own. Fun fact: I only own 2 pairs of shoes, a flip-flop, flip-flops, not single flip-flops, 2 flip-flops, and a pair of boots. That's it. That's the only shoes I have. I don't feel like I need any more. So cute. Don't see many little Jades outside of the caverns. I've always found Greenies fascinating. So devoted to the continuation of the species. What a holy mission. Kahoot moves slowly and lazily like she has all the time in the world and no conceivable reason to rush, and reaches out to pat Daria's shoulder. She lets her hand linger, one claw resting against Daria's neck. Ain't a dangerous proposition to be so far away from your green brothers and sisters. Unless you're hiding something in those pretty veins. A slimy chill runs down your spine. Daraya seems frozen to the spot, staring straight ahead at Kahoot's bosom in front of her. You think Kahoot is joking, but it can be hard to tell with clowns. Their humor is just so much more highbrow than everyone else's. Just joking. This looks like a good party, even if Elwood is too blasphemous for my taste sometimes. See both of you little ones inside. And then she ambles away, bending down to duck inside the door to the party. You hear party sounds, music and laughter and clinking drinks, and what could be the sound of someone being murdered, which qualifies as party noise on this planet. Look at her. Pinch her cheeks. Then the door swings shut again, and you and Daraya look at each other. Daria's heavy makeup can make it hard to read her expression, but you can still tell that she's rattled. You know what? It looks like this party is filled with lame conformers. All these highbloods that buy into the system and do what they're told, and even Elwood. We can find something better to do somewhere else. Yeah, to hell with this party. You're down to find your own fun, especially if that means not putting Daraya in the way of potentially murder-happy clowns. My food is supposed to be here in a second. Is it already here? Sorry, I ordered food because I'm home by myself. I normally would be working on a Tuesday night like this, but, give me a moment. I'll be right back. The problem was that I misread, the map. I have the map pulled up on my other screen. As you saunter away from the party, you realize that Daraya is looking at you expectantly. Well, you got this reputation for being all unconventional and weird and rebellious. Everyone seems to think that you're, like, totally fucking with the convention society or whatever. So you got any suggestions for cool shit to do? God, you sure felt a lot of presence to be quirky since we're just spread of us your manic pixie dream alien ways. It's not like you're trying to be a vehicle for other characters to project onto, assisting in character growth and insight for those around you while your impulse decisions and carefree ways somehow keep you yourself stagnant and forever unchanged. It just seems to sometimes be like that. Anyway, you're tired, and it's daunting to have a punk teen expecting you to come up with suggestions for cool stuff. You have a feeling she's just going to shoot down whatever you suggest. You rack your brain trying to think of anywhere from your many adventures that Daraya might like. You think Pan comes up with zilch and squat, and she's starting to look bored with you. Confessing that you can't think of anything is probably an option if you want Daraya to be your friend, and as exhausted and disillusioned as you feel with your socialite routine, you like her and you want to bond. Because she's just a baby. She's just trying to figure her own way out in the world. Don't know, what do you want to do? You tell Daraya that you have no ideas for cool things to do because everything on this planet is lame. But she's from here. Doesn't she know of any good or any non-lame places to go? Ugh, I told you, I'm stuck underground all the time. It's not my fault I'm literally sheltered and never get to do anything fun. Oops. Maybe this was the wrong approach. She seems pissed at you. But then Daraya sighs loudly and uncrosses her arms from her chest. I do know of one place that's pretty alright, I guess. Better than here, anyway. It's far, though. Not a problem. You've got wheels. You're walking the neighborhood because, well, you felt lifeless and glum, and your car needs alien fuel, which you've been reluctant to ask someone how to get because you don't want to be told it runs on grub grease, something like that. But now you have purpose again, and you're more than willing to provide transportation in service of your new friendship goal. My food, I believe, is actually here. The icon's getting incredibly close. I will be back with you in a moment. Hey, my food's here, and what I'm not going to do is make you listen to chewing sounds. I'll just eat after I finish this route. Okay, just in case, to summarize this line, we're going to get a car. You take Daraya to your car parked a few blocks away, and she directs you where to go. You drive through neighborhood after neighborhood, through the yellow-blood slums where you met Follicule and Cuprum, the busy urban sector where you had adventures with Tagora, and the austere Indiglo enclave where Gallic lives. Eventually the buildings get sparse, and you think about how you are yearning to drive out into the barren landscape and not die, maybe, but stop. Just let it all end. You don't think Daraya would take you all the way out here for just for you both to meet sweet oblivion, but who knows? Trolls can be kind of hard to predict. Just when you think you've reached a point where there can't be any more city or suburbs left, a rubble of massive old buildings comes into view. It looks almost like a miniature version of the main Alternians that are used to, except it's all abandoned and mostly ruined. Nothing around here looks inhabitable. Rumor has it that some of the trolls here who lived here pissed off the Condas, so she called this whole town. That went away back in the day. It's ancient history now. If there are any survivors, I guess they'd either be dead or up in space. Anyway, these old buildings are kind of sick. It's never anyone else here, and I'm into that. You drive until she tells you to stop in front of a huge, crumbling building. And even though this thing is half gone, you can still tell it's a mall. It seems a bit different from the mall you visited with Palipa, even aside from the fact that it's totally dark and there's no one inside of it. It seems more old-fashioned. A lot more like one of your familiar Earth malls. See, this is so weird. So, I actually work in one of the malls in the town where I live. But the only places with 2 stories are the department stores. And I think only 1 or 2 of the department stores. Like the big ones, like the Macy's. It's weird. I guess it's just weird to see like an escalator in the middle of the mall. And also stairs, because the places that do have a second story I don't really think have stairs usually. They just have escalators. Every dystopian movie you've ever seen has taught you to be extremely wary of abandoned malls, and you feel pretty nervous as Daraya takes you up the rickety, frozen escalator. It's so dark you can barely see your hand in front of your face. You're trying not to show your fear because you don't want to look like a wuss in front of Daraya, but you can't hold back a whimper when your foot lands on a step that makes a distinctive, about-to-collapse noise. Don't be scared. That's okay, I've climbed all over this place 1,000 times, and anything that isn't already disintegrated is sturdy enough. And there's no risk of culling out here because, well, everyone's already been culled. She's gentler toward you than you would have expected, given her cynical and spiky demeanor. You swallow your fear as you reach the top of the escalator and tell her that it's chill, you just have some horror movie associations. Daraya turns and pats you stiffly on the arm. You would never tell her this, but her reassuring manner when she's noticed someone is in distress kind of reminds you of Branya. It's worth it when you get to the cool part. Come on. Shit continues to be dark for a while, though you can see some light ahead. As you get closer, the hall opens up into a food court, and you see that the light is moonlight shining through the mostly absent roof. And then Daraya was right. There's something extremely surreal and cool about a decrepit, empty food court with the roof caved in. Rubble sits atop cafeteria tables and plastic food trays scattered on the floor. And okay, that might be the remains of a troll skeleton, still wearing a mostly disintegrated fast food uniform, which is less cool. It makes you remember that this place is abandoned because the Condes sent drones here to murder everyone. Sorry, I'm just thinking. Okay. So let's put this mall into context. So there were two, as far as we know, two major Alternian rebellions. There was the Signless and there was the Summoner. And after the Summoner's rebellion was the adult ban for Peter Pan reasons. If this mall existed, and we're about to get to this, but if this mall existed and there were adults employed at this mall would have had to be in service, at least for a little while, before the Summoner's Rebellion. Which, I mean, I know malls are like, I'm sure they're invented like the 60s, 70s, or whatever. But that does imply, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. But that there is a certain amount of implication there that at least the Summoner, if not the Signless, could have totally lived in a world with phones and like rudimentary computers and malls. Like the Signless could have eaten McDonald's out of a dumpster. You know, or maybe the Summoner like had a job growing up at a weird dingy Alternian mall. And we could never have had that context. And I mean, this might also, and this might have only been in this specific area, you know, maybe this was like the developments were inconsistent across Alternia, and maybe wherever the Summoner was had a slightly less, you know, modern America feel to it, but I just want you to think about the implications. My second Alternian thought, we'll add in some extra Alternian thoughts today. I think the implications of the technology being much further ahead than is usually assumed in Ancestor fan art is really interesting. Because, you know, we usually picture the Ancestors as, like, there's pirates and, you know, abilities, like, very, very traditional high fantasy, almost Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, I know that that Dual-Scar had a gun. Dual-Scar had a gun. That's just a thing. But, you know, we invented guns before, we as humans invented guns before we invented malls. But the implication that there were adults who worked in this mall, and it might have been, too, that maybe the adult ban got tightened, you know? I don't know. Just something to think about. You want to know the weirdest thing about this mall? It seems like actual adults used to maybe work here. I've gone through a lot of the stores and some of them are for adult-sized things. And there's a store for just like shit the drones bring you now. These army supplies are going off-world too. This mall is for adults. Must be really fucking ancient. Jeez. Has it really been that long since there were any adults on this planet? Even after all your time in Alternia, that still kind of freaks you out. What must that be like to grow up entirely without adults? To live on a planet that's nothing but kids? Daraya gives you a weird look. What would it even be like to have adults down here too? That sounds way more dangerous and stupid. It's not like we're all wigglers. Trolls have to grow out of that mindset pretty fast. People have responsibilities or whatever the fuck, or at least they pretend to. There's training and stuff for Jades. We're basically trapped. Maybe thinking that a planet of kids would mean you can do whatever you want, but I've never had any freedom. Hell, even less as adult, cloistered Jades aren't even allowed to join the Imperial Army. Instead, we get shipped off to live in isolation. Hold on to that. So there must be non-cloistered Jades then. That must be... Sorry to interrupt your rant, Daraya, but that must mean there are non-cloistered Jades. Interesting. Are forbidden to contribute genetic material to the slurry, and no paling is allowed once we mature for some, I don't know, bullshit, old-fashioned reason that I pretty much don't understand at all. On Eternia, your whole future is decided the second you're hatched. People tell me all the time I have it lucky as a Jade blood, but I don't feel lucky at all. Oof. Yeah, you agree with Daraya that the future she described sounds bleak as hell. Right? It's gonna fucking suck. It's so shitty that I have it good. I mean, at least I don't have certain early death in my future. Like, or a lot of lowbloods. The system is so fucked up, it's never gonna change, and I hate it here. I just want a way out of it. Maybe... when you go back to your home planet, you could take me with you. The request comes out of left field, and for a few seconds you just blink at her stupidly. Even with all that angry black makeup on her eyes, she just looks so... sad. Sad and lost. She would like to take a drink. You wish you had a different answer to give her. But you tell her you can't take her back to your planet because you don't know how, when, or if you're ever going home. You've been trying not to contemplate the future because on the rare occasions that you do, let yourself think about it, existential dread tends to take over. Dread. Yeah, that's the word for it. The older I get, the more I realize how shitty things are. I try to think about it just like you. But still hits home sometimes, and when it does, I don't feel like angry or rebellious. Instead, I feel completely fucking paralyzed. This, too, is a familiar emotion to you. You feel for Daraya, who has wandered over to the middle of the food court and is staring up through the cave into the moons. She has her arms wrapped around her middle, and the spiky jewelry and jagged haircut and big black boots don't do anything to make her look less small. You wish you knew what to say to make her feel better. You've done a decent job at cheering up projectiles in the past, but it's hard when you're feeling so crappy about your own situation. You mutter something about how things could still get better. You never know what the future holds, yada yada yada. And she looks at you like she knows just how hollow your words are. You sound just like Branya. Next you're gonna tell me how important Jade Bloods are and what an honest responsibility is? Give me a break. Optimism is for chumps and losers. Keeping corrupts safe doesn't matter. The continuation of our species doesn't matter. Nothing any of us do fucking matters. You feel your blood getting hot to match the steel that's now in her voice. A sick part of you finds this train of thought a lot more viscerally satisfying than trying to cheer her up, which wasn't working anyways. You stamp your feet, and so does she. Can't believe anyone bothers to try and carve out a real life on this worthless shithole of a planet. There's no point, we might as well all be cold. In the back of your mind, you know you should maybe be disagreeing with some of this, but you're too worked up to care. Maybe Daraya's right. Maybe nothing matters. That's fucking right. Maybe I should just quit. You falter in your righteous fury. Maybe quitting is going a bit far. Yeah, highbloods that go around causing death and destruction just because they can have the right idea. This is starting to not sound so great. What doesn't sound great about it? Who cares if I decide if I don't want to be a caretaker instead of just burn shit down for fun? There's no point in anything, so why does it matter? Who cares? Daria's hands are balled into fists, and her teeth are bared as she glares at you. You open your mouth, maybe to tell her that you care, even though that would probably sound trite, but no words come out. She scoffs and turns away from you and jumps on a crumbly-looking cafeteria table. You know what? Fuck this. Friendship's as pointless as everything else. She picks up one of the chairs, and you really need to stop being surprised at the strength of even the scrawniest-looking trolls, and hurls it at the nearest fast food stall. You thought it was just a random throw at first, but it appears that she was aiming with precision, because it crashes into a tank of fuel connected to the oven. You're not sure how Alternian cooking technology works, but the stall explodes in a huge green-tinged fireball that knocks you on your ass. You watch in horror from your ass-level vantage point as the flames lick into restaurants on either side, explosions happening around the food court like dominoes. Daraya stands on her table in the middle of it, unmoving, even as the fire threatens to envelop her. This is probably the only place I actually like on the whole planet. So good riddance. If it's gone, one less thing to care about. With all the dust and debris, this mall is coming down fast around you. You desperately want to get Daraya out of here, but you desperately want to save yourself more. And Daraya doesn't look like she wants to be saved. You make a feeble attempt, going over to her and trying to grab her around the waist to get her out of here, but she kicks you hard in the chest. Her steel-toed combat boots sends you flying, and it's once again 0 days since you last broke your ribs. As used to this pain as you are, it still takes you a second of lying on the floor in agony before you can push yourself up to look back at the food court. A wall of fire now separates you from the tables inside. You can't even see Daraya anymore. Your heart sinks. Maybe she'll come to her senses and pull herself out of danger and escape in through the caved-in roof. Maybe she'll get out some other way. You stumble to your feet, half thinking that maybe you can find water or a fire extinguisher in some part of the mall that isn't burning up. But smoke chokes your lungs, and in your panic, your human survival instincts take over. You dash down the escalator as small infrastructure starts to crumble around you, and you don't want to abandon Daraya, but it's all you can do to get your sorry self out of there alive. Game over. I think it's similar to to why I feel so much for Watchies. I'm sad. If you can't tell, this route gives me a lot of emotions. So specifically this ending, and I think it is, being there at one point, being that teen who was just angry and upset and tired, and you feel like there is no future for you, whether in this case it's because there's alien isolation ahead of you, and in other cases it's you don't feel like there's anything out there for you. And the idea that you could just burn down a mall with you inside and just it would all be over kind of hits, but to recover from that ending, it again will be a mere second for you, but a couple minutes for me. I'm going to eat some of my dinner, and then I'll be back with you. I'm back because I didn't actually eat that much, but I realized I want to finish this recording before people get home. Marvis deleted my fucking save files. Anyway, we're going to wander the streets like hoodlums. Here's the thing. Your weirdest and best adventures have happened to you when you've just decided to be spontaneous and just let shit happen. Adventures and coolness are both hard things to plan. So he's suggesting that we just wander. Her derisive tone makes you hesitate, but, well, yes. That's exactly what you're suggesting. Daraya gives you a long, considering look. You hold your breath. And she shrugs. Okay, whatever, sure. I'm not gonna have anything better to do. Let's just go. Look at all these trolls. Is that... Oh my god, that's Decorin! Look at there! Look at them! Look at them! I'll put arrows on the screen, but look at them! Oh my goodness! Look at them. I recognize that bullet anywhere. You meander through the well-maintained cerulean streets, heading downtown. This seems like a good opportunity to get to know your new potential friend, so you start by asking her some fairly simple questions. How am I? Gee, I don't know. I'm forbidden to leave the stupid caverns, and as a jade blood, all I look forward to is a life of being forbidden to do things. How do you think I am? Okay. Try to walk down back a little. Sounds like Daraya is unsatisfied with the jade blood setup. That's one way to put it. You could also say that I'm unsatisfied with, the whole setup of my species. You've been here for a while now. Don't tell me you haven't noticed that every part of our society is transparent bullshit. You glance around because Daraya is right. You've been around for a while, and that means you know enough to know that if the wrong people overheard this kind of talk, you'd both get cold on the spot. Excuse me. But everyone here seems distracted by their own nonsense. Cautiously, you can see that, yeah, you've noticed a certain bullshit aroma. Yep, it all stinks. No one has any kind of real future except for the highest of the highbloods. And I'm not sure things pretty much suck for them too. Some might say that purple-bloods are the most disprivileged class of them all. You're just gonna continue not comment on that one. Instead, you point out that being a jade-blood, Daraya has a purpose beyond just growing up to become fodder in the Imperial Army, like you've heard other trolls mention. Surely that counts as a real future. Don't get me started. Suffice to say, I'm not exactly hyped about the purpose I suppose that they have. More like the purpose that was arbitrarily assigned to me. It's not like I have a choice. I'm building any sort of railway to put me in danger of calling. That fear is pretty much just hopeless. Damn. You wish you had a good counter-argument. You want to give her some more to comfort, but what can you even say? Daria's right. Shit's grim. At least you're honest. Thanks for not bullshitting me. There's an L missing from bullshitting. You know, Lynera said you were good to talk to about the real stuff. Guess she was right. That's... Huh. I'm surprised that Lynera is going around talking about you, saying positive things even. But you're more surprised that Daraya is bringing her up in a non-derisive context. You didn't know that Daraya and Lynera were close? Ugh, no, gross. I hate Lynera. And not in a romantic way. Or, well... Anyway, never mind. I forgot about that! Silly teens. Daraya looks embarrassed and flustered and also pissed at you. At least you've gotten the subject away from how hopeless everything is, but still, you don't want this friendship to sour. As you're scanning your useless brain for a technical sudden changed, you're saved by the footsteps of a new troll approaching. I love this ending because these two get to talk to each other. My clapping is off, I know. I'm sorry, I'm just excited by Tizias. There she is! There she is! With her mug and her rebellious attitude and gay rights. As luck would have it, you know this troll. It's Tizias, which makes sense because your meandering has taken you and Daraya close to Tizias' favorite book hive. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Never mind, I don't need to even ask. You're obviously making friends with this J-Blood. Searching for some dumb shit to do, no doubt. Don't let me keep you. Tizias looks just as exhausted as you remember. You don't want her to go just yet because it's been a while since you've seen her and you're always eager for an opportunity to catch up with your friend, especially one of the less murderous ones. Then you notice Daraya eyeing Tizias' mug of unidentifiable liquid, and an idea occurs to you. You get excited, not think a little on the balls of your feet as you introduce Tizias and Daraya to each other. Explain. She do be looking at you. You explain to Tizias with a meaningful look that you hope she'll interpret correctly that you and Daraya were just conversing about the more unjust aspects of Alternian society and how hopeless everything seems to be. What do you mean the more unjust aspects? Does Alternian society have aspects that are not unjust? I'm sweeps into studying our legal system, and I haven't found any. Daraya makes a muffled sound that could be a laugh. You make your meaningful look more meaningful. Doesn't Tizias remember the conversation she had with you about justice in the city system? The importance of possibly futile work to try and improve things someday? Pissing? Tizias squints at you, then takes a long slurp from her mug. Right. Yeah, I remember. You wave your hands around. Now we're talking! Tizias is one of the few friends you've made that seems to not only notice that shit was fucked, but wanted to dedicate herself to unfucking the shit as much as she could. Of course, many of your dear friends try to make the world a little better in various clumsy, interpersonal, distinctly Alternian ways. You think of Chixie, striving for her music, even when it pits her against highbloods. the baffling but sweet ways that Kanye, Anastasia, and Gallic and Tagora care for each other, and Father's commitment to political... Wait, why did you think of that guy? He's a total shill for the Condis. Pour one out for my bro Father. Anyway, Tyzeus has a big picture mentality and a cause that she believes in, and the simple fact that she hasn't yet completely given up is inspiring. Daraya is struggling with feelings of despair, so maybe Tyzeus could talk to her about the works that she's been doing. I love them so much, but I forgot this is a little bit awkward. I already did say, pour one out for Father, press F to pay your respects. I've got 2 Cokes, but I'm going to be pouring them out because I'm going to drink them for dinner. What? No, I'm not struggling. It's whatever. I don't even care. Daraya kicks at the ground sulkily. Tyzeus looks her over, her eyes lingering on the jade symbol on her shirt and her spiky black jewelry, then sighs. Sure you don't care. I went through a phase of telling myself that too. I thought it would make it easier to deal, but nah. Tyzeus pauses for another mug slurp, and you think she might be enjoying the opportunity to monologue a little bit. Daraya huffs. The only thing that helps, and I'm not even sure that helps is the right word for it, is finding something to work on in your own little corner. We're trying to make shit feel a little less... But there's nothing I can do in my corner. It's pointless to pretend otherwise. And that goes for everyone. Like, this whole system is designed to help highbloods stand by dissent in every corner. One troll can't do anything against something like that. Tyzeus' eyebrow twitches as she stares at Daraya, clearly peeved at being interrupted. Uh-oh, this could be going better.
Oh, no shit. Oh, what are you taking me for? I'm not saying that all it takes is standing up and fighting for what's right or something stupid like that. That's obviously a surefire way to get called.
Well, then what are you saying? How can you even know what whatever piddly little action you're taking will change anything?
I can't tell you the future, dumbass. No one can give you a guarantee that any kind of action taken will be ultimately effective. You have to decide for yourself if it's worth to try anyway.
Why would you think it's worth it when everything around us confirms that nothing will ever change? I can't believe you're calling me a dumbass when that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Tyzeus looks like she's about ready to throw the contents of her mug in Daraya's face. Knowing trolls, she'd probably follow up with the mug itself. This is not the conversation you'd hoped for at all. You step in before things get any more heated. You tell Tyzeus that you're sorry that you didn't flag her down just so she get her ideas get shit on. Turn to Daraya, who is staring at both of you with a defiant look on her face and a stubborn set to her jaw. This kid. She's just so dead set on rebelling against anyone who tries to tell her anything with even the faintest whiff of authority. 'Cause she's not doing great. You really thought that maybe all that attitude could be channeled into something productive that would also help her feel better and possibly even give her a sense of purpose. You're not mad, just disappointed. Ugh. Don't give me that look, okay? I was just stating my opinion. But I guess I could have been less bone bullshit about it. You're pleasantly surprised that Daraya more or less apologized. Tyzeus looks mollified too. This shit just makes me so angry. Angry and sad and helpless. Like I don't even know what to do with myself when I really have to think about it.
Bingo, unfortunately. I feel the same way. I don't think there's any getting around the helplessness, but what I was trying to say is that working on something that might help fix things someday makes that feeling a little less powerful.
So what you're saying, it's just about making yourself feel better?
Oh, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. I believe I'm working on things that might affect change someday, even if I'm not around to see it. But also, yeah, most of the times it helps me sleep at night too.
You sleep during the day. Goof. You can tell Daraya is a bit disappointed by this, like she doesn't trust that political rebellion can go hand in hand with making the rebels feel good about themselves. You point out that whether or not Tyzeus feels good about her work doesn't make the work itself any less effective.
Yeah, in the end, the universe doesn't care about how I feel. I'm just one troll trying to do the right thing. Or it's the okay thing. for its own sake, even if it might ultimately be futile. What the fuck else are we gonna do on this bitch fun alternative? You got me there. I'm bored all the time, and there really isn't anything cool to do down in the caverns. I guess during downtime and training, I could, I don't know, help you out maybe? Not that I have anything other to offer than the book hive and the jade cloisters. Access to that might really help with my research, actually. Give me your number and we can talk. Is it just your imagination, or just has Yes look a smidgen less tired? The bags under her eyes less baggy and her back a little straighter. And you think the corners of Daria's lips might be very slightly quirked up. Daria turns to her, possibly a smile from Theseus to you. This is cool, I guess. Or at least not so bad. But I don't know if it counts as something cool. I guess we could keep hanging out until more shit happens. You know Daria know well enough by now to recognize the ringing endorsement that it is. You're about to happily agree when Theseus pipes up. I'm just headed home from studying, but I'm not tired yet. If you wanted a third wheel to drag along. Three-way friendship combo bob victory! We're making friends with the best, some of the best girls in home. This episode's 50 minutes long. Holy shit. Yeah, made friends with Daria, got emotional about a mall burning down, reflected on Alternia, reflected on being a high schooler. I like this episode. I like this route a lot. I like Daria a lot. So yeah, that's it for today. Next is Nikki. I don't care if it's Nike. I'm calling her Nikki. And then, yeah, we have that one, and then 4 more episodes until the end. And then I said, I'll be doing a Hiveswap Let's Play after that. I may or may not have camera. I haven't decided. And then we'll be on into the future. So I hope you have a nice, whatever time of day it is for you. I've got a sandwich and a half to eat. Hell yeah. Bye.